Many of you know that some time back, my stepson married a wonderful young lady from Melbourne, Australia. The best part of that marriage has been the magnificent little grandson they've given our family. Bailey is simply one of the cutest and sweetest little boys in the whole world. For a while, they all lived in our house, so we made every effort to spoil and ingratiate ourselves to Bailey. Since then, they've lived in Colorado and eventually decided to move back to Australia so that they could be around her family. This weekend, my stepdaughter also got married here in town. That meant the whole family was going to be in town and many of them in our house. That included Bailey. He was so grown up, but still the same sweet little boy, and we were so thrilled to be able to spend quality time with Bailey. He got to play with our other grandson, Braden, as well. Seeing the two of them together was awesome. The most immediate observation about Bailey was his new accent. He has a pure Australian accent. He's a little Aussie now. It's so cute, but hilarious because it's such a change from when we last saw him. One morning he came into my bedroom and I asked, "Bailey, would you like some breakfast?" His answer was, "That is a perfectly good idea, Papa. Actually, I am quite hungry." If you can make out a Australian sound in spite of my southern accent, you'll get the picture. And he has this Australian accent in spite of the fact that I had him living in my house with an exposure to a perfectly good southern twang, hick-sounding southern accent such as my own. He was simply adorable. It did make me think once again about just how big an impact our surroundings and environment has upon us. Every day we're placed in environments that affect us in so many ways. How we talk, how we dress, our customs, behaviors, and actions, as well as our attitudes, are all affected by those we choose to surround ourselves with. With that being true, it becomes incumbent upon us to be careful who and what we expose ourselves to on a regular basis. Paul knew just how much our surroundings affect us, so he wrote in Romans 12:2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world." Several other paraphrases and translations help us. One says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of the world." Another says, "Do not imitate this world." Still another says, "Do not be fashioned according to this world." All of this is to remind us to be careful how we allow the world to influence us. It is so easy to blend in and to become just like those around us. We live in a society and a time that is not particularly holy or Christ-like. It is so easy to forget that we're to be different. In 2 Corinthians 6:7, Paul writes, "Therefore come out from among unbelievers and separate yourselves from them, says the Lord. Don't touch their filthy things." We live among people who have unchristian attitudes and actions. We are to love them and to care for them, but we're not to let them pull us down spiritually. Today is a good day to take stock of the impact the world has had upon you. Have you slowly been sucked into the culture and are living by cultural principles more than biblical principles? Have we become more like the world than we are like Christ? We are to remember that we're to pattern our lives after Him, not them. The latter part of that verse goes on to tell us, don't copy the behaviors and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. God can and will transform us by changing our thought patterns. The more time we spend with Him, the more like Him we will become. Let His Word dwell in you and influence you above everything else. David asked and answered the question of how we do this. He wrote in Psalm 119:9, "How can a young person stay pure? By observing your word." Here's a good thought to carry today. Be careful who is shaping my thoughts today. Here's a good prayer to pray. God, help me to be more saturated with your words and thoughts than the world in which I live. God bless you.